What's up, hobby friends? My name is Casey, and welcome to another miniature rescue. This week, we're getting ready for Orktober. So Orktober is upon us once again, and there are lots of things that I still haven't been able to do. Things that I've wanted to do for a few years, and things that I want to expand upon. Specifically for this month, I want to break up a couple of different, more straightforward vlog style videos, and do some larger projects. Now, I don't know if we're going to get them done, but I think we're going to make some seriously good progress on this and actually get something on the table. So let me show you a couple of the projects that I want to get done this month, and hopefully with some dedicated time and effort put into these projects, they're actually going to see the table, which I'm pretty excited for. I picked up this model on eBay a few months ago, and I was kind of hoping to get to it sooner, but honestly, we got closer to October, and it's kind of just one of those things. It's been an ongoing theme to do one of these large Stompa projects for me, and I really enjoy them. So I was hoping to get in and do another one. This model is also in, it's not great. It's not great. I paid, I don't know, around $100 for it on eBay, which isn't too bad, but there are definitely some issues. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that's just broken off in general. There's also actual spiders and spider webs on this. This has been sitting on a shelf for who knows how long. It's completely covered. The good news is it's actually built pretty well. There doesn't seem to be any major issues with the construction. There's even some unique construction in terms of how the feet are laid out and what's going on with its stance and everything. And it's got a different front end than I've seen on a lot of the other Stompas that I've gotten used. There are definitely some things that are broken on here. There are just missing pieces in general. But, you know, we can take a bunch of stuff, we can build things, we can make it look better, make it stronger. So that's one of the major things that I want to work on this month. The other thing is right over here. Some of you that have been watching the channel for some time might remember my buddy Beau. He helped me out painting a massive Necron army, and we got it done in just a couple of days. We built a ton of models, saved a bunch of models that were already built, and some of them were painted. It was a really great time, and one of the things that we've talked about is that we want to do another large army project and get it done relatively quickly, or at least as quick as we can to get it on the table so we can play some games. Now, I've had my Stompas for a while, and I want to continue. I want at least 3 just for the fun of it. I mean, I seriously doubt that's a thing that you could play on the table. I don't actually know, but it sounds like a cool thing to do. And I'm more about that with Orks than anything else, so I just want to see that happen. Of course, it would be cooler to see an entire Green Tide Ork army just sitting on the table. My Ork army is not exactly that. Most of my army are the Stompas. I've got a bunch of, mechanized things, the Killicans and things like that. So I don't have a ton of troop options. That being said, I have been collecting a lot of older orks, a lot of metal orks from sculptors that have been around that have been doing orks for a long time. So I do have some really cool, unique troop options, but not like this. So the idea then is going to be build an entire Green Tide army. Now this one's already built and primed. We kind of prepped that beforehand. Get this Stompa on the table again, and maybe even a handful of older, just really cool looking ork dudes. So I've got everything laid out, and I can get an idea of what we need to do. The Stompa needs a ton of work, and we're gonna get there. For now, I wanna start with these little guys, because I wanna put them on top of this Stompa. I wanna integrate them into the Stompa like I have on my other one. I think that's a really cool thing to do. It adds a little bit more story to the model. And these older orks, the old plastic ones from, I don't know, the early 90s or whatever. I think it says 92 on some of these. Real cool. Real cool models that just, it would be good. I mean, come on. Little dude sitting on top there. Great. Okay, so I got out the sonic cleaner. I'm gonna put all of these models into this jar of isopropyl alcohol. And that's gonna go inside a water bath, and that's how we're gonna get the paint off of these. Now, some of these models don't actually look too bad, but there is some damage and there's some mold lines and some issues that I just need to clean up. So I'm gonna strip them and we're gonna hopefully make them look good. Overall, these didn't turn out kind of how I expected. The yellow paint that's on these models seems pretty extra thick. Now, that being said, when I did start to clean these off, the paint was coming off rather nicely, and I did get them put back into a sonic cleaner and continue that process. I have been pulling them out periodically and just trying to clean them off even more. So, you know, a little bit of stubborn paint, but it will come off. And once we get this cleaned up and we put primer on here, it's pretty thin, and I think that we're gonna be okay. So I think the next step here is to get these put back together now that I've kind of disassembled some of them, and then we're gonna put paint on them. Now, I'd like to get some base coats, some kind of basic highlighting, some fun stuff going on. That way, they're pretty much ready to go when we get the rest of the army and the Stompa going, so that I can just glue them on top of the end product and kind of blend them in it. Before that though, let me tell you about today's excellent sponsor. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about using some magic liquid that makes you a world-class painter. No oil. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all-natural, delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. And it's a habit you're free to enjoy and make replacing your bad habit easy. It fills the void in a natural, guilt-free way. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing while breaking your habit. Personally, I was surprised by how much the clicking and spinning and popping of the metal parts actually, helped me calm down and focus on what I was doing. It's very satisfying to hold and feel the weight of in your hand while you're doing other things. Stopping is something that we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Over 500,000 people have already added Fume to their daily routine and has thousands of success stories. There's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. And right now, if you order the Journey Pack using my code eBayMiniature, you'll get a free Fume topper. So if you've been thinking about changing your habits, this is the perfect first step. Go to tryfume.com/eBayMiniature or scan the QR code on screen to grab yours today. Head to tryfume.com/eBayMiniature or scan the QR code and use code eBayMiniature to get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use code eBayMiniature to save an additional 10% off your order today. A huge thank you to Fume for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to those teeny tiny minis. So for now, the plan is to get these painted up to kind of just a basic level. So I'm going to start with some primer and get that on all of the models. Then I'm going to do a quick spray over the top so we can get them nice and bright, and that way we can use some contrast and some speed paints and things like that. The first color that's going to go down is going to be some green for their skin. I'm going to use a little bit of brown for their pants just for now so that we can get something down. Some black for the boots and the cloth that we have. Some dark silver for all the weapons and some trim and things like that. And then I'm going to finish it off with a wash of Agrax Earthshade. This is going to get these basically to a tabletop level, nothing too fancy. We're not doing anything crazy with colors for now. I do want to come back and make them look a little bit more like when I got them, when they had some brighter colors on them and there were other things going on. But like I said, for now, this is going to have to do. There's still more work to do on the Stompa, and we've got a lot more models to paint, so this seems fine for now. After I get the last bit of wash on these, I'm going to let them dry for a little while, and I'm going to gather parts so that we can start to build the Stompa. In all these drawers, I just have a ton of stuff, and it's hard to kind of keep track of it sometimes. But for the most part, I have a pretty good, mental overview of what's actually in here. I know that I have paints in here, I've got bits and different things. So that's what I'm in here for. I'm looking for some stuff. In fact, ooh, that might be useful. Okay, so I actually have that somewhere else. So right here, you can barely see it. Yes. So I gathered a bunch of different parts and pieces. I've got painting on those little orcs pretty much taken care of. We're still gonna add some more. I think I wanna try and tie it in with the color scheme on the actual Stompa when that's done. But for now, I think they're in a good place. They have base coats, they look fine. So what we need to do from here is clean this up and start to kind of come up with a plan. I've gone ahead and printed out a ton of 3D parts. I found some extra cool stuff that I've actually used on some of the other Stompas before, so I think this is probably gonna work. Otherwise, get parts starting to fit together so that we have an idea of what it actually looks like. Okay, so I got everything laid out. I kind of know what I have. The biggest thing right now is that this needs to be cleaned up. It still has spider webs all over it, and I need to start getting some of this stuff glued back together. A lot of these 3D parts I found on places like Thingiverse and my mini factory. I really was looking for shoulder pads, and I actually found quite a few. So I'm pretty happy about how those came out. And I basically just took some smaller shoulder pads that were kind of orky already, and I blew them up to like 150%. And I think they're gonna make this Stompa just different enough so we have something fun. One of the parts that I really like is this little gun barrel that I found online. I ended up measuring the broken barrel on the Stompa with some calipers. We got a nice size out of that, and then I went into the slicer software and put a hole in the back end of this particular barrel. Now that it's printed out, let's see if it fits. It's a little tight, but honestly, that's great. That's not even glued on, and it's basically there. So feeling pretty good about how most of the stuff is gonna actually end up working. This has to be completely washed off. There's still spider webs, and honestly, this thing feels like it's been outside. There's spider webs and dirt and a bunch of stuff all over it. So I need to put this into a bath and clean it off. Now I'm just gonna wipe him off and make sure that there isn't really anything else on him, any of those spider webs. I pretty much got everything, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm also noticing some weird issues here and there. There's definitely some broken off pieces that we're gonna have to replace. There's some mold lines that I need to cut up. Let's do that. I mean, honestly, it could be worse. Oops. In order to take care of some of these parts, I'm going to use some Tamiya extra thin cement. It should fill some gaps. It should take care of some of the issues. There's some stuff that's just straight up broken off. And this will do really well for those things, just to weld it together and smooth it out a little bit more. Then we can start to get some of these parts and pieces on this model. Alright, so I pretty much got him put together. I got all the pieces and parts on, and I think he's looking pretty good so far. There are a couple of small issues in just a few places. Right here is a good example. There's something missing. I don't know what it is. I haven't actually looked it up. It's fine. We can figure something else out. And the last thing is this little piece up here that's supposed to have like a little crow's nest. I moved the crow's nest over to here because I thought that would be cool, and the other ones technically have those little boxes. As you can see on this guy right here, he's got the little crow's nest up there. So something similar, smaller, weirder, that's fine. So really the last thing to do is to kind of add something to this to really bring it all together, to bring it in with the other giant Stompas. And I think I have just the thing. Aha! So here's the idea. I'm gonna do something with this. I'm gonna put this on here, and we're gonna include this as some kind of an extra gun or something on the side of this guy. And that's gonna really tie him together with the other ones. So the real issue is that these pipes are essentially receipt rolls. They came from the original Stompa that I made a video about a few years ago at this point, right when I moved into this office actually. So it's kind of interesting. It's been a good almost 3-4 years. Wow. Which is really cool. And I'm pretty thankful to still be able to do this. And obviously you guys are a big part of that. So thank you. But when I made that video, a lot of people, you know, they kind of were like, well, why did you remove the receipt rolls, right? Why did you do that whole thing and take all that time and effort to do something like that? And I mean, my answer is pretty much the same as it was then. I really haven't changed my mind about it. It was just a fun thing to do, to build the thing that I wanted to build. The thing that I bought was something that somebody didn't want anymore, and I rebuilt it to make it mine. And it's funny because all the comments that ended up coming out of that video prompted me to buy another Stompa and basically recreate that initial, like all the guns coming out of the chest in a completely different way. And that was really fun too. And now we're coming back around and I got this other Stompa. I actually bought it from the same store up in Canada that I bought the other ones from. And we're gonna get to just fix this one up and do something even cooler with that and make it something else. And it's gonna go in with this, you know, it'll be this trio of Stompas, and I think it's really cool. And including some of that original idea into it, getting a piece from the original back onto this, I don't know, just kind of feels like it's full circle. The question is though, how do I make it not look like a receipt roll? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna glue this on to the side here, and then I'm going to try and integrate some of these chains in, and maybe this guy. That seems fun. Kind of attach that like they're gonna lift it up. Maybe. So now I want to wrap some chain around this part and some chain around a different part. There, so we got this pipe wrapped around with the chain. We got the claw on here so that it looks like it's some kind of a contraption. We have the extra gun on this side. I think this is looking really cool. This is definitely, I'm excited about this. I think we can probably do some other things with this too. Like things fit through here. So I don't know. We can do something fun with that, I think. Okay, so these are mostly just base coated right now. There's a couple of highlights on them. I did a wash, try and get them basically ready to go. These are gonna get put onto our Stompa after that's painted. But I wanted to do something special with these guys in particular. So I'm gonna get out my Goblin Hobbies stamping kit. The idea is we're gonna get some of these sweet checkers onto the shoulder pads of our orcs. And right now, because they're essentially just base coated, I'm not too worried about getting anything on anything else. It's going to be very easy to come back in and take care of any issues, and then we can just keep painting after that. So I like to get my models in a good spot just so that I don't, put in a ton of time and effort before having to redo that or something if I screw something up. Okay, so I've got my model ready to go, and I've got my stamper, my color, my scraper, and I've got a little bottle of 100% acetone to clean up any of the paint that we're going to use. Now, the idea is that we're going to use this checker pattern on the shoulder pad. And I know that I've got plenty of room to work with on here. The shoulder pad is not nearly as big as this full section. It also means that I can just use this stamper and we're going to be able to put that on the entire thing. Now, like I said before, there's going to be some overlap. And I'm not really worried about that right now because I didn't really paint this, to a super high degree. There's basically some base coats and a wash on here. And it's not like he looks bad, but I'm not too worried about it if I have to clean it up. So I'm gonna take my color and I'm gonna lay it down over the top of this design, just enough to give a nice thick layer so it's not gonna just dry out immediately. And I'm gonna make sure on my stamper here that I can actually fit in here. And that looks pretty good. Like I'm feeling good about where this is. I'm not hitting too many things. I have an idea of how this is gonna go. I'm gonna take my scraper card and I'm going to swiftly scrape that off and then a very gentle but quick roll over the top. And I'm gonna come down on top of my shoulder pad here. So right now I'm pressing evenly to get that pressure so that the design sticks. I'm trying not to go over the edges too much and you can see that. I'm gonna lift that up and there's a little bit of excess paint here and there, but basically that's a clean shot. So as you can see right here, we've got the checkers on the shoulder. That was a pretty quick application and he's already looking a lot better. He looks really cool now. And again, this is just base coats just in case. We're gonna work on them a little bit more, but for now, this is exactly where I want them to be. I just have to repeat this on all of the other shoulder pads. He doesn't have one on this side. And we're gonna call these done for now. I'm pretty happy with that though. I think right now we're in a good spot. We've got our Stompa built, we've got some models started, we've got paint going. I think we're in a pretty awesome place for Orktober, and I'm pretty excited to keep going on this project. So thank you again for joining me on another miniature rescue. If you enjoyed something about this video, please consider hitting that like button, sharing this video with your hobby friends, and subscribing for more miniature rescues. And of course, more of this awesome orc project for this Orktober. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to continue to make these videos through this month. I think it's just going to be a really cool way to get a bunch of this stuff out as much as possible and not just have it be some single project or single model, so to speak. But anyways, thank you. So hit the buttons, do the thing, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching.